Hi friends, welcome back to the Enchanted Stay, where fantasy books and stray kids exist in chaotic harmony. Today we're diving into one of the most emotionally devastating songs in Stray Kids' discography, Changbin's Streetlight. And honestly, this song isn't really about loneliness. It's about being lonely while being surrounded by people. It's about being the person everyone depends on, the strong one, the reliable one, the one who always says, I'm fine.
Totally fine. I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
Even when they're not. So today we're breaking down themes, archetypes, tropes, symbolism, and other literary devices, and matching it with fantasy stories that carry the same emotional energy. So grab your sword, your light stick, and maybe prepare to get emotionally attacked. Let's talk about Streetlight. Core theme, the burden of being strong. The entire song revolves around one painful contradiction. People see him as strong, but he doesn't feel strong. In fact, he feels like he's falling apart. Yet he believes he cannot show it. One of the most heartbreaking lines is this. I don't want to show how weak I am. Because immediately we understand the central conflict here. This isn't a battle against an enemy. It's a battle against vulnerability. Fantasy literature is full of this archetype. Characters who become pillars for everyone around them. Not because they want to, but because they feel they have to. This falls into the burdened protector, the reluctant pillar, and the guardian archetype. The character who believes, if I fall apart, everyone else will too. The Streetlight Symbolism. Let's talk about the title, Streetlight, because it's one of the strongest metaphors Changbin has ever written. A streetlight exists to illuminate the darkness for others. People rely on it. People benefit from it. People notice when it's gone. But nobody asks if the streetlight is okay. And that's exactly how the narrator sees himself. He says, like a streetlight in the middle of a lonely night, I only appear bright. That word, appear, look, 보이는, changes everything. Because the light is real, but the brightness is misleading. Fantasy constantly explores this idea. Characters who become symbols, heroes, leaders, kings, mentors. People see the role, but not necessarily the person underneath that role. The streetlight is useful, but the person is suffering. The Mask Trope. One phrase repeats throughout the song. Pretending to be strong. Pretending not to hurt. Pretending everything is fine. This is one of fantasy's most common character arcs. The masked hero, the hidden wound, or the smiling protector. Characters who believe showing weakness will hurt the people they love. So they bury it, hide it, lock it away. The tragedy is that the mask becomes another prison. The stronger the image becomes, the harder it is to ask for help. The leaking roof metaphor. One of my favorite pieces of imagery appears here. The rainwater gathering on the worn out roof, knowing me well, it keeps finding the gaps and leaking through. This is incredible symbolism. The roof represents emotional defenses. The walls we've built, the coping mechanisms we've created. At first they work, but eventually the cracks appear, and life finds them. Fantasy often uses castles, fortresses, and walls as symbolism of emotional protection. Streetlight does the same thing here. The narrator isn't collapsing because he's weak. He's collapsing because no wall can withstand endless storms. Eventually, every fortress needs repairs. Repression versus release. Another major theme is emotional repression. The song repeatedly describes pain trapped inside. My pain is trapped in a room with no door. This is such a powerful image, because the problem isn't the pain. The problem is that it has nowhere to go. Fantasy frequently treats suppressed emotions like magic. Lock them away long enough and they become dangerous. Curses form. Monsters emerge. Kingdoms fail. Streetlight follows the same logic. Ignored pain does not disappear. It grows. Quietly. Until it becomes impossible to contain. The lonely leader archetype. One thing I find fascinating is how much this song mirrors fantasy leaders. Think about Aragorn, Kaladin, Aelin, characters who carry responsibilities larger than themselves. Streetlight understands something many fantasy stories understand. Leadership is isolating, because people look to you for answers, and eventually you stop feeling allowed to ask questions yourself. One lyric absolutely destroys me. When someone says, "You can lean on me," I don't have the courage to add a question mark. In other words, he doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to rely on others anymore. That's devastating. The true conflict. What makes Streetlight so powerful is that its solution isn't strength, it's connection. The narrator eventually reaches a realization. I need someone before everything collapses. Fantasy often teaches us that heroes save themselves. Streetlight rejects that idea. No one survives entirely alone. Not mentors, not leaders, not streetlights. This is the found support system, straying through vulnerability, and the companion archetype. The song quietly argues something beautiful. Asking for help is not weakness, it's survival. Anxiety as an invisible monster. The later verses become increasingly anxiety-coded. The narrator begins noticing people's words, people's looks, people's opinions, even when they aren't directed at him at all. Everything starts feeling threatening. Fantasy often externalizes this feeling through monsters, but Streetlight doesn't. The monster is invisible here. It's internal. Anxiety becomes the dragon. Fear becomes the villain. And because nobody else can see it, the battle becomes even harder. Final message. Who lights the streetlight? I think that's the real question hidden inside this song. Who helps the helper? Who saves the guardian? Who comforts the comforter? Who lights the streetlight? Because throughout fantasy literature, some of the most powerful stories happen when the strongest character finally admits, "I'm not okay." And someone stays anyway. Streetlight isn't about weakness. It's about finally recognizing that strength was never meant to be carried alone. Fantasy book recommendations. If Streetlight hits you right in the chest, you'll probably love these books. The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. You have burden, depression, leadership, surviving when you're exhausted. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. You have loneliness, sacrifice, carrying responsibilities too young. The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Burden Bearer archetype and the importance of companionship. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Learning you don't have to carry everything alone. The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. A ruler struggling under impossible expectations. Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. Isolation, Responsibility, Identity. A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Gentle exploration of purpose, burnout, and meaning. The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. Strength, sacrifice, and emotional endurance. If Streetlight is your comfort song, these books will probably understand you. Streetlight isn't a song about being strong. It's a song about the cost of always being strong, about carrying everyone else's burdens, about hiding your own, and about realizing that even the people who guide others through the dark sometimes need someone to guide them too. Let me know in the comments what lyric hit you the hardest and which Stray Kids song I should deep dive next. If you love this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay chaotic, stay magical, stay.